Hello everyone. Today we'll be doing a critical evaluation on leadership theories taught in our module on our chosen leaders. This is our group, myself Dipender, Satvik, Aya, and Chahal. Next slide, please. This is the table of contents. Today we'll be doing two leadership theories and we'll be analyzing two leaders. So the structure of the presentation is as we'll be taking a leadership theory and then we'll analyze two leaders based on it. And then again, we'll take another leadership theory and then we'll analyze two leaders on that. We'll conclude the presentation with recommendations and a conclusion. Next slide, please. So here are our chosen leaders, Ursula Burns and Indra Nooyi. The chosen leadership theories are situational leadership and the Burns leadership module of 1978. Next slide, please. So here is a quick overview on Ursula Burns. She started her career as an intern at Xerox Corporation in 1980, and in 2009 she became the CEO of the same company. From 2009 to 2016, she led the company, and she became the first Black woman to lead a Fortune 500 company. Next slide, please. Talking about Indra Nooyi, she was appointed as CEO of PepsiCo in 2006, and she became the first woman of color to lead a Fortune 50 company. From 2006 and 2018, she transformed PepsiCo's portfolio towards healthier options. In 2010, she introduced Performance with Purpose philosophy, integrating human, environmental, and talent sustainability into core strategy. Next slide, please. Now let's move on to the Burns leadership module. The module defines three distinct leadership styles: transformational leadership, transactional leadership, and pseudo-transformational leadership. Transformational leadership engages followers. It creates a connection and it based on increasing motivations and influence. Talking about transactional leadership, it's mostly a manager-based leadership. It's focused on a basic exchange of efforts for specific rewards. Talking about pseudo transformational leadership, it's a self-serving leadership that uses inspirational influence to manipulate followers to the leader's own interests. Next slide, please. Okay, moving on to Ursula Burns' leadership, particularly during her tenure at Xerox, demonstrates a powerful combination of transformational leadership factors, significantly augmented by elements of transactional leadership. The evidence overwhelmingly points towards her being a deeply transformational figure focused on ethics, values, and driving followers towards performance beyond expectations through a clear, purpose-driven vision. Her authenticity, commitment to social issues, and emphasis on developing both her company and its people strongly align with the highest levels of transformational approach as well. Her style shows no evidence of the self-serving interest characteristic of pseudo-transformational leadership. Next slide, please. Talking about the factors of transformation leadership, factor one, idealized influence. Burns is consistently portrayed as a role model and a visionary whose influences stems from her authenticity, integrity, and personal journey. Her rise from a New York City housing project to the Black women CEO of the Fortune 500 company is celebrated as an American success story. She is noted as a mentor for women and African Americans, demonstrating that wherever you come from, you can accomplish almost anything. Moving on to the vision, she defined her desired legacy at Xerox as continued tradition of solidifying and growing a great company and extending value to more people in need around the world, more customers who need the value we have around the world. That's her own statements. Her expansion of Xerox into services was a clear shift in the company's defensive to offensive strategy. Next slide, please. Talking about factors 2 and 3, inspirational motivation and intellectual stimulation. Talking about the inspirational motivation, Byrne articulates high expectations and a compelling future, motivating followers to support a great purpose. She communicated the need for a profound shift in expertise at Xerox, requiring value-added resellers and employees to move beyond technology knowledge to understand customers' business processes and what actually makes a company run. Talking about promoting purpose over self-interest, her involvement in STEM education is driven by the fear that American icon Xerox might have to shift its value creations done somewhere other than its nation. Moving on to intellectual stimulation, she challenged the status quo and encouraged innovation, risk-taking, and new ways of thinking. Burns actively challenged the idea that Xerox should be nervous about opening up its shouldn't be nervous about opening up its offerings to channel partners, a previous weakness, and rapidly learn from competitors to become more expensive. Moving on to the next slide, please. Talking about individualized consideration, Burns provides support, coaching, and attention to individual needs of her people. As mentioned before, she is actually actively monitoring people, focusing on women who are trying to balance work and family. She stated that when dealing with an activist investor, she knew they had employees all over the world whom we actually cared about, indicating a stakeholder view beyond mere shareholder value. Talking about her transactional leadership factors, Burns also utilized transactional leadership, which focuses on exchange and goal setting. She clearly tied effort and commitment to mutually reward and partnership. She emphasized a direct exchange with partners. They must match their desire to do business with an investment of money and time to learn. And in exchange, Xerox would partner with them and make its resources available. Next slide, please. Talking about the criticisms, there are always pros and cons to everything. Burns' theory requires a high moral purpose. A criticism is that her leadership, particularly the ACS acquisition, was primarily a transactional move for market survival, not a transformational one to elevate follower morality. The goal was economic adaptation, not societal change, which adds to the fact that she shows some transactional traits. Moving on to the pseudo-transformational risk, her famously blunt and dicey top-down style should be critiqued as leader-centric. When a leader's vision is pursued so forcefully, it risks bordering on pseudo-transformational behavior where the leader's goals are prioritized over follower well-being, as said by analysts in 2020. Talking about failure of transformation, a core criticism is that the transformation ultimately failed. The 2017 split of Xerox into two companies, Conduent and Xerox, suggests the transformational vision of a single integrated services company was not achieved fully, as also stated by Financial Report in 2017. Now I'd like to request Arya to talk about Indra Nooyi on this leadership model.
Thank you, Deepinder. So now I will take you through the transformation in actions in Indra Nooyi's, leadership style. So Indra Nooyi's leadership at PepsiCo is, a very good example of transformational leadership. But she also balances a transactional element to ensure performance. Uh, PepsiCo into a global, responsible, health focused, and innovative company. The vision drove cultural and social change as well. So, Noe's Performance with Purpose initiative, which is launched in 2006, aligned business growth with sustainability and social responsibility. So, she basically inspired teams to create healthier products and, meet measurable goals, blending visionary purpose with operational discipline. It actually act like a hallmark of effective transformational leadership. Then we go to the next transformation factor one, which is idealist influence, which is ethical role model. So it's like Nui acted as an ethical role model known for integrity and global respect. So her journey from India to CEO symbolized perseverance, which is a very good aspect for a leader, and a purpose that embracing the transformational leaders charisma. So she was a value driven, advocating diversity, sustainable, and corporate, social responsibility person. And she redefined PepsiCo's identify through performance with performance on purpose, balancing profit and a social good cause. So here we have an example for it in 2010. She led a shift to healthier products by inspiring employees by modeling moral leadership and foresights, like, showing how charisma can shape the culture, basically. Uh, so let's go to the next slide, which is transformational factor 2 and 3 comes under inspirational motivation and intellectual stimulation. So, inspirational motivation. So, Nui motivated employees to think beyond towards purpose, wellness, and environmental stewardship. So, basically, she consulted in she cultivated inclusion and equality across PepsiCo. Coming to intellectual stimulation, she promoted innovation, healthy snacks, natural beverages, and science-based R&D. Also encourage creative thinking and problem solving at every level, which is a very interesting factor as a leader. And I would also love to give some examples here. The one example is in 2011 launch of PepsiCo's Global Nutrition Group and R&D centers in Shanghai, which is linking with innovation with well-being. Demonstrated how she fostered creativity tied with a purpose. That is something very interesting. And coming to the next factor, which is transactional one, so individualized consideration. So Nui mentored women and unrepressed groups, showing personal care and support. She also introduced on-site childcare, flexible work, and leadership development program in 2011, and this promoted like work-life balance while maintaining accountability and blending with such a good performance. Coming to the transactional factor, I think used a contingent reward to tie measurable goals to innovation and sales, practiced managed by exception, addressing issues decisively to maintain operational excellence. So overall I would say her leadership balanced both transformational vision with transactional efficiency. Then of course every leadership has a pros and cons as well. So after the research, here are the criticism from our end. So neglect of transactional base. So the critic argues that Nui's transformational focus on health and sustainability came at expense on PepsiCo's core soda business, which lost market share to Coca-Cola, and conflicting moralities. I mean, Burns' theory emphasized moral leadership, right? Yet, PepsiCo's profits still relied on less healthy products, creating ethical tension. And also would like to talk about leader versus follower transformation under criticism. Like while with performance, with purpose reflected Nui's own moral vision, but still investor reminded focus. It was a very short term return. So basically, the takeaway would be the transformational change that can be visionary but falter if followers, like investors don't buy into the higher purpose. So that is something which is lacking there. So yeah, this is all about the criticism. Over to you, Sadvik, to talk about situational leadership theory.
So, hello everyone, my name is Satvik and I will be talking about situational leadership theory for both Ursula and Burns and Indiana. So, first, let's start with the basic leadership theory to give us the way to understand how different leaders succeed. The one I will focus on today is the situational leadership theory by Horsley and Blanchard. This theory basically says there are no single best way to lead. Instead, effective leaders about adjust their style depending on their team's needs and their situation. There are four main leadership styles here: directing, coaching, supporting, and delegating. And each one depend on how much direction and support a leader gives. Can I go to the next slide, please? So over here, I will be saying about the four leadership styles. So talking about the directing style, the S1, this is when a leader gives clear instruction and keeps a close eye on things. For the second one is the coaching style, is the S2 style. Here the leader still gives direction but also supports and encourages people to grow. The third is the supporting style, that is known as S3. This one is more about collaborating. The leader steps back a bit, listen more and empowers the team. The fourth one is the delegating, S4. Finally, this style gives a lot of autonomy. The leader trusts capable employee to take charge and make decisions. Now that's really interesting about Ursula Burns is that throughout her time at Xerox, she used all the four styles at different points. So this is what we will be saying the next slide. Can we go to the next slide, please? So about Ursula Burns, we are talking about the directing style. At certain time, Burns used a directing style. For example, when Xerox was transitioning from a copier company to a digital service company, she had to be very hands-on. She gave clear direction and expected strong alignment across teams, especially during the big $6.4 billion acquisition of ACS. Her leadership here was about results and precision. She believed in setting clear expectations so everyone knew exactly what needed to be done. This style really worked well during times of major changes when the company needed firm guidance. Can we go to the next slide, please? So here we'll be talking about the coaching style of Ursula Burns. As this stabilized, Burns shifted more into a coaching style. She actively mentored people and gave them challenging assignment to help them grow. She was known for helping develop features leader inside Xerox, offering feedback, guidance, and opportunities. This approach created a strong talent pipeline. She gave direction when needed, but also encouraged her teams to take initiative and think independently. So it was a nice balance between control and encouragement. Can we please go to the next slide? So here we are saying of the supporting style of Burns. Later, Burns showed a lot of supporting style, and honestly, this one really stands out. She emphasizes inclusion, collaboration, and open dialogue across all level of company. She supported initiatives like the Xerox National Black Employee Association and scholarship program for underrepresented groups. Burns often said she had to follow other as much as they followed her, which really sums up with this leadership approach. She trusted her people, gave them room to contribute ideas, and focused on building confidence and trust. It wasn't about micromanagement, it was about empowering. So, can we go to the next slide? Here we will be talking about the delegating slide of Burns. Finally, with experienced and capable teams, Burn often used the delegating style. She gave team autonomy to make decisions and trusted their expertise. Xerox adopted a decentralized structure where employees at all levels were empowered to act and lead projects. By stepping back, Bond could focus on the big picture like strategy, innovation, and long-term goals, while her teams handled execution. This style really helped the company stay agile and initiative. So wrapping up the supporting style, we could go as Ursula Bond used all four leadership style depending on the situation. But if we had to highlight one, the supporting style really defines her. She believed in empowering people, building trust, and creating an inclusive culture where everyone could succeed. Her leadership shows that being a great leader isn't just about being giving orders. It's about listening, trusting, and helping others grow. And that's what made her such an effective and inspiring leader at Xerox. Can we please go to the next slide? Over here, everyone has some criticism. So Ursula Burns also has some criticism. So here we are looking at Ursula Burns throughout situational leadership theory. Basically, she had a strong direct style, but we call the S1 or directing style. That worked in some cases, but it didn't fit at all situations. For example, when Xerox merged with ACS, she needed a more supportive approach to blend the two cultures. Also, during those times, employees were feeling insecure, so her tough style might have demotivated them. And even when investor, the same direct approach caused friction when they needed more assurance and flexibility. So overall, the main issue was a lack of adaptability. Her leadership style didn't always match what the situation or people needed. Thank you. I will ask Chahal to take forward.
Okay. So, hello everyone. So, today I will tell you about the Indra Nooyi leadership style. So, let's just quick start with the first one, the directing style. So, here Nooyi used the style when she launched her performance with purpose strategy. She sets a very clear target for things like sustainability and healthier products, and she made sure everyone understood the company new direction. It wasn't about being controlling, it was about being setting a solid foundation so the team knew exactly where they were heading. That's clarity helped PepsiCo its core business at that time. So next slide please. So then we have a coaching style which is both directive and supporting. So I have a great example is when Nui challenged her R&D team to find an alternative palm oil. So she guided them by setting clear expectations, but she also motivated them to experiment and innovate. Because of that, the team ended up developing rice brain oil as a more sustainable option, cutting cost and making PepsiCo products more eco-friendly. So it's a perfect mix of structure and support. Next slide. So it's now my favorite one, the supporting style. So one of the things she used to do was writing personal letters to the parents of her senior executive, thanking them for their children's contribution to the company. That's such a grateful gesture, and it says a lot about her leadership. And she also made a PepsiCo an exclusive workplace where employees could be themselves and feel valued. So by doing this, she created a sense of belonging and loyalty that you cannot buy with a bonus. It's helps that come from empathy and honestly. So that's made what people love working with her. Next slide. So finally, there is a delegating style. So here, Noi shows this when PepsiCo took on a 1.5 billion IT structure infrastructure upgrade. So she handed over a authority to her expert team, but still she kept an eye on an overall strategy by trusting their experts. She allowed them to work independently, and it paid off with great result. It shows them that empowering people can lead to the incredible outcomes when you have the right team in the place. Next slide. So here is the criticism situational theory on Indra Nui. So now let look at the Indra Nui through situational leadership. Like how she uses the style was more of coaching or supporting one, what we call as S2 or S3. Her performance with purpose, vision really reflected that. But some critics says that she might overuse this style, especially when tougher, more directive action was needed in certain areas like struggling in North America beverage divisions. So, next slide, please. So, finally, to conclude everything, so our analysis of Ursula Burns and Indra Nooyi shows that effective leadership is about adaptability and balance. Using situational leadership theory, we saw how both leaders adjust their styles to meet their team's needs. Burns focused on coaching and supporting, while Nooyi combined direction and empowerment to achieve results through the path goal. So both acted as faculties, removing barriers and clarifying their goals and motivating followers toward their success. So overall, we learned that successful leaders are flexible, empathic, and purpose driven, aligning their teams and growth and with organization goals. So thank you so much. So here are some references we have added in the slide.